Let's talk Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie is one of my favorite congressmen. He's a Republican from Kentucky. And the reason he's one of my favorite congressmen is because he gets everybody so upset. So Trump tweeted this. So Thomas Massie was critical for the same reason a lot of us were, saying, hey, we need to be cautious, not dragging ourselves into wars. You know, a lot of people voted for an end to these foreign wars, and here we are. It looks like we're about to get into another one. He's also critical, the same way I am, of funding to Israel. He doesn't necessarily oppose funding to Israel, but he's upset the same way I am about funding Israel with no strings attached and letting them do whatever the hell they want and directly disregard the orders from our president. So here's what Trump tweeted or Truth Socialed about him. I went from defending Trump to criticizing him. This is a boomer rant here. This is a boomer. I mean, surely the president has something better to do than type this shit out on his phone at 11 o'clock in the morning. It says, Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky is not MAGA, even though he likes to say he is. Actually, MAGA doesn't want him, doesn't know him, and doesn't respect him. Trump endorsed him the last two elections, but neither here nor there. He's a negative force who almost always votes no matter how good something may be. He's a simple-minded, quote-unquote, grandstander, I don't know why that's in quotes, who thinks it's good politics for Iran to have the highest-level nuclear weapon, while at the same time yelling death to America every chance they get. Iran's killed and maimed thousands of Americans and even took over the American embassy in Tehran under the Carter administration. We had a spectacular military success yesterday, taking the bomb right out of their hands, and they would use it if they could. But as usual, and despite all of the praise and accolades received, this lightweight congressman, lightweights in quotes again, the inappropriate use of quotation marks from Trump is what irritates me, is against what was so brilliantly achieved last night in Iran. Massie is weak, ineffective, and votes no on virtually everything put before him, in parentheses, Rand Paul Jr., no matter how good something may be. He is disrespectful to our great military and all they stand for, not even acknowledging their brilliance and bravery in yesterday's attack, which was a total and complete win. Massie should drop his fake act and start putting America first, but he doesn't know how to get there. He doesn't have a clue. He'll undoubtedly vote against the great, big, beautiful bill, even though non-passage means a 68% tax increase for everybody and many things far worse than that. MAGA should drop this pathetic, in all caps, loser, Tom Massie, like the plague. The good news is that we will have a wonderful American patriot running against him in the Republican primary, and I'll be out in Kentucky campaigning really hard. MAGA is not about lazy grandstanding, non-productive politicians, of which Thomas Massie is definitely one. Thank you to our incredible military for the amazing job they did last night. It was something really special. Make America great again. Okay. Lot going on there in that long, winding tirade. And Thomas Massie has a great interview on Theo Von. I just got done listening to it. It was from the other day. You should go check it out. So Thomas Massie, obviously they're frustrated with the Iran thing and his comments on that. They're also frustrated with the fact that he was one of the people, and we covered this a couple of weeks ago when the big, beautiful bill came out, that was saying, hey, let's codify these Doge cuts. I don't like this. You're going to add, I want the tax cuts, but I don't want to add to the debt. This is going to add to the debt. We're not going to cut enough spending. This is going to be a disaster if we don't get our spending in control. And they said, oh, we'll do it later. Just vote yes on this. We'll put it on the back burner. And he's like, no, I've played this game before. You guys never do that. We have a chance to cut the spending. Let's do it now. And he obviously lost that. So right now, here's what's going to happen. You may not like Thomas Massie on some issues. You may feel he kneecaps what Trump's trying to accomplish. Thomas Massie's one of the only consistent conservative politicians in Washington, D.C. right now. He's the only one who puts his money where his mouth is and votes based on what he said while he was trying to get elected. He actually follows through on his campaign promises to hold the government accountable. And if you replace him, if they primary him, what you're going to get is an establishment neocon hack. You're going to get another Lindsey Graham. You're going to get another Liz Cheney, another Tim Scott, one of those clowns like that. I don't want that. Is Massie perfect on everything? No, nobody is. But he's a whole hell of a lot better than the alternative, because that guy has been a thorn in the side of the establishment for the longest time. And if they see MAGA on board with derailing an anti-establishment conservative, They're going to be all for it, and the Mitch McConnells of the world are going to come out of the woodwork with the knives out to take this guy down and replace him with another neocon war hawk yes man. I don't want that. You shouldn't either. You know, the fact that Trump is going to go campaign in Kentucky during what's going to be a tight midterm. Thomas Massie, the Republican's going to win that seat 70-30, no matter who the nominee is. It doesn't matter. And the president's going to be there, wasting his energy. You're going to have money that could go to some of these swing districts, like Nebraska 2, like some spots up in Michigan, like some spots in Pennsylvania and New York, that flip a coin and that's who wins. I mean, you're talking millions of dollars that could go to help campaigns defeat Democrats is going to be wasted trying to take down one of the most conservative members of the House. Hey, Don, why don't you go, Donald, not Don Bacon, why don't you go to some of these districts and use your time there? Why don't you campaign in these manufacturing districts up in Pennsylvania that switch parties every 2 to 4 years? Why don't you go do that? If everything you're doing is so popular, you know, this Iran shit is as popular as you say it is, go campaign on that in the districts that we can either take over or the ones that we're in danger of losing. There's a district up in Maine. You've had a Democrat. Donald Trump's won the district in Maine the last 3 presidential elections by an increasing amount every time. You've got the Democrat. He's got an incumbent Democrat congressman up there who's going to run for Senate. So he's dropping out of his congressional race. That's a very vulnerable seat that we could easily take if we put a little bit of time, money, and effort into it. But you're going to use it trying to unseat Thomas Massie. Listen, guys, Thomas Massie's the Ron Paul of this generation, whether you like it or not. Ron Paul was a thorn in the side of the establishment from both sides for decades. And I hate to break it to you, without Ron Paul, there is no Donald Trump. Ron Paul laid the foundation for what is the MAGA movement now. It's not perfectly, excuse me. It's not perfectly adjacent, but there's a lot of similarities there. And these people that are running Thomas Massie out would have happily run Ron Paul out 15 years ago. They tried to do that to him. It didn't work too well. He was a little bit more stubborn than that. But right now, here's what I'm trying to figure out, and let me know what I'm wrong about here. It feels like, because the two things that MAGA's upset with Thomas Massie about is that he opposed U.S. foreign involvement in other countries' wars, and he wants to codify the Doge cuts and permanently cut government spending. Both of those are things that Donald Trump and a whole bunch of MAGA Republicans ran on back in 2024. So to me, it seems like a lot of you guys' chief gripe and only gripe with Thomas Massie is that he's actually holding Donald Trump to his campaign promises.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.